Hey, this is Gene. I just wanted to talk to you guys about something. And it's been a while since I talked on here because I've had some issues with my tooth. As you can see, this side is kind of like more full. This was a lot worse about 4 days ago. I still have some issues right now because the swelling is not going down all the way down. You can tell that it's almost like, it was a lot worse, but uh, I have issues with my teeth. I've always have. It's I think it got exacerbated after I had my first chemo in my 30s, and I think it doesn't do well. No matter what I do, this is all coming too as well. It's like all of a sudden this started happening too. A lot of that's just getting age, but I don't. It's weird. It just shows how old I am, I guess. But I guess that's just gravity. But I did want to talk about the new owners or the minority owners that run Manchester United and why Sir Jim Ratliffe and why I was so adamant that he should win whatever it is over the Qatari bid. And we're seeing right now why. Because clearly he has a vested interest in the team. And I think that you only get that if you're actually somebody that's the school across the street, that you're native, let's say. I don't think that Manchester United never should have ever entertained the idea of being like Newcastle or Manchester City. That's not what Manchester United is about, and what we're supposed to do. I think that Sir Jim probably understands the issue that's happening in England right now, the huge amount of demographic change. Basically, the free speech is gone in the country. Basic Native American, Native British people are being pushed out for what you would call basically invaders. And I think that he's an older man, and I think that he wants his legacy to bring Manchester United back to where they used to be. He wants to have the Wembley of the North. And there's a good debate about whether we get to build a new stadium or retrofit Old Trafford. Now, as an older Manchester United fan, I would never ever say to shut down and level Old Trafford. I couldn't see it. I've been there a couple of times. It's like a church to me when it comes to sports. There are other things that I would consider the same thing. When I go to Doak Campbell, when I see Florida State plays, it's like a church to me. When I went to see Duke play basketball, little small inside stadium that they have there, Cameron Indoor is like a church to me. I've been to Yankee Stadium. Obviously, I've been to both Busch stadiums. I've been so many different places in the country. And as a sports fan, there is kind of like an affinity for me. If they could do it right, like they did with White Hart Lane, then I'm okay with it. I can just tell you the last time I've been to Old Trafford, they changed the changing rooms and all that stuff. Because when I went through it on my tour, it was like, my God, they live in here. This is right before. This is 1999 actually, the last time I've been there, and it was right before they won the treble. We played Everton that year, and we went. Me and my daughter went, and I think the game was on a Saturday. And we went down and did it, or maybe it was on a Saturday. And we did the tour on the Friday, and we walked out on the field, and I have pictures of her doing that. And it's kind of one of the greatest memories that I have. Obviously, my other kids are way too young. Caitlin was my older daughter that wasn't with me at that time. My other one was still living in the States. And obviously, we'll always have that together, that we did that together. But I didn't really want, because I talk about stuff on this channel all the time about demographic change, and if we just continually allow this to happen, that basically people that look like me, that have my type of DNA, is going to be wiped out of existence. And they're already trying to do that in the United States, taking down statues, or just basically saying that we can't talk. Look at the new AI thing now. It just, you can't even show a white family. You have to, but you can show every other ethnicity. And I think that what was so fundamental for Manchester United to not have a Muslim-backed Qatari state-run person to run that club. Now, they want to run everything. So you can be all upset. Everybody can say the Glazers are the stupidest people on the earth, and maybe they got the right thing done here, but they chose right. And I see the people now that were all wanted Qatar are not really coming out and saying that they were wrong. Now they're all so celebrating the fact that Sir Jim is doing everything that they want him to do. He's got 27% in the entire club, but he's running football operations. And the man has got a plan. Like I said, he wants Old Trafford to be the #1 stadium probably in Europe. We all want that, but we want it to be still Old Trafford. And they can still do that. I can take the same, the bricks and everything, and they can make it exactly the same and just make it better and everything else. Now it's going to be, I heard it's going to be 5 fucking years for them to do if they do a new stadium, and I'm like, how the fuck could that be? If you have the right amount of money, and you have the right people, this should be an 18 months project. It should not be 5 fucking years. Are you going to say from planning to the actually finishing it? Maybe that's the truth, because you have to go through all that shit. And I know in England and the United States, the same thing. All the red tape that you have to go through. But you want it to be a place that it's going to be more than just, you can just take football there. I would like to keep both, but it's not really doable right there. You can't, if we do this and we build another stadium right next to it, I think you've seen if you've acted online, you can see the different things what they might do. Then obviously Old Trafford will be more of the parking lot. And it's going to be very difficult because that stadium's been around for over 100 years. It's going to be hard, to deal with that. And people are going to say, it's just progress, Gene. It's hard for somebody that's been a Manchester United fan for 45 years to say that's not good. And then when you actually go to it and you feel the walls and you walk into the corridors of the old stadium and you go on the field and you just see this thing and you feel the history there. And it's almost like, will all that be taken away? A lot of times it's happened in this country where when they upgraded certain things, or they shut down things and built new stadiums, and it's just so beautiful, but there's no history to it. And those teams don't necessarily do that good. So, my team, St. Louis Cardinals, when they, there's something going on here. We got a lot of wind here right now. We have a wind advisory here in northern Alabama. So, but anyway, I'm not here to gloat. I think that I was right all along. I think that if there was another guy that had to be, let's say, British, and he had a better bid, then I'd have been okay with that. Or even someone younger who had that and wanted to do that, that's great. But there was a lot of people saying that, well, he's not going to care. He's not really a Manchester United fan or anything like that. But now you listen to the man, and he basically has the same vision that Ferguson had. He wants to put everybody below us, take them off their perch. Because right now, when you talk about perches, that's Manchester City. It's time to get them off the perch and put us where we need to be. Now, you could say in the old days that we had a lot of things going our way. We had the best team, but it seemed like Ferguson kind of like ruled over the rest. It seemed like we got a lot of decent decisions in the Premiership, at least. Not so much in the Champions League. A lot of times we got shit that happened to us. But you would think that team that we had, we should have won more than he should have won more than 2 as the coach. There were probably 3 or 4 times there that we were clearly the best team in the competitions, and we just lost. Like we lost to Porto when Scholes scored, but they didn't give it to us. Against Dortmund when Cantona missed the open net, basically, and they scored. Leverkusen that year, and one of the 2 times against Barcelona, we could have won some of those games. And both of those games, we started really good against them. first 15, 20 minutes, we had chances to score both of those games. And then they ended up taking over the game. And I think a lot of that was based on who Ferguson started. That he shouldn't. The fact what he did before the one game when he told Perpetov he wasn't starting. And that kind of like, I don't think that was good for the team. And also we knew that the other one was Ronaldo was leaving. After we're trying to defend our title, he goes on and decides to leave. And everybody probably knew that. And I'm not saying that Barcelona didn't deserve that, but now we sound more and more refined out about that there was probably some sort of drugs that they were used, performance type of drugs there. So it puts into question how fact that they were so dominant over us, and they were a smaller team, and they were more physical than us. But that was still a great team. You can't really, if we're second to Barcelona during that time, it is what it is, right? We beat them the time that we did win in 2008, but it was a very close game. But Messi wasn't at his powers yet. Ronaldo was better than Messi at that point. So, again, I don't want to gloat because all I see is good things here. I want to deal with this shit here, keep my health good, so I can see what actually happens. I'm 58, gonna be 59 next month. So it's, my window of opportunity, just like Sir Jim, is the same thing. He's in his 70s, so he knows that he has to get this done. I don't think he's going to want to build a stadium that's going to take 5 fucking years. I don't believe that at all. I think he'd want to get it done earlier than that. And I think he's got this idea that about 2 or 3 years, we're going to be at the top. And in order for that to happen, you're going to see a lot of changes when it comes in personnel, when it comes to the team itself, and obviously coaches, the staff, how we actually do stuff. I think they're going to build a new stadium or a new training facility. I think what we're going to see, because all the injuries that we've had, I think he's probably going to gut all that. The physio department, he's going to try to get the best people in the world for that. I think that's more important than getting a new stadium. Yes, it's leaking in some places, and I get all that. But in order to actually have the better team, we have to have the better trained facilities, and you have to have just the great staff in the background. And then good people at the top that actually recruits well, so we get the players early on in their career, so we're not paying $800, $900 billion on them, and make sure the new team is promoted like we're doing right now. And that leads me to the issue that we have right now that, again, a good player like Luke Shaw is hurt again, and probably is going to be out for the rest of the season. And because of our financial issues, we had to let Reguilon go back to Tottenham. Now he's at Brentford, I believe. We also got rid of Fernandez or I can't remember his name. He went somewhere. I think he's still under our books. We definitely could have that. And we've had injuries. Wan-Bissaka's got injuries this year, which is kind of strange for him. He's getting more of those, and maybe he's the type of guy that he has to play all the time. If he doesn't, then he gets injured. Maybe. So we need him back. So we got a 16-year-old guy that's in the youth team that people are thinking he might actually come to the first team, and I hope he does. And we're not going to win the league. And it looks like right now how the whole thing is, we're not going to get 5 in the Champions League. We still have a chance to go in and do something. Villa has to play Tottenham, and they all have to play the same players that we're playing. They have to play City again. These are going to be times they're going to lose points, but we're going to lose points against City and stuff like that as well. I don't think we're going the Emirates. That's the other one. Or is that what it's called? That's where Arsenal plays, right? Oh, I get fuck it. All these different people with their names. Emirates is that's Man City. I'm thinking about the main road. So anyway, they're gonna be teams that we're gonna lose points to. Hopefully not Fulham on Saturday, but I think this could be if he actually is good enough. And everybody's saying this guy's the next. He's 16. I'd give him a chance. Um, I'd have to see if he's been playing for the team this week, if he's going to be playing in that because the youth team is really good this year. I don't think they've lost a game. Or you could put Arabat back there, and I just at that point I think Lindelof is okay at that position. The only problem he really doesn't have is really good pace. I think that his tactical awareness is good enough to play there, but it kind of like takes away what Shaw does. And I knew it exactly in the game where that happened. We lost the ball. I think it was one of the many times that it was Bruno did something stupid, and then Shaw was up the field, going in their quarter of the field, and he had to come back. And I saw he went as fast as I've seen him go all year. And I think probably after that is when he either tore it or I don't know. I've heard now he's out for the rest of the season, so that sounds like a tear to me. But it's not talent-wise. He might be in the top 5 in the world at his position. IQ, average, used to be under average, and then Jose changed all that, made him a better player. He's one of those guys that's always been the best, and he plays that way, and he has that type of belief system. He can come back and do anything, and sometimes it hurts. He makes mistakes, but on his days he can cover anybody, and he's one of the best in the world at it. But he has problems with injuries, and it's not. People say it's this and that. You got to remember he actually had his leg broken, so that was a whole year he was out. But he's not a guy that can play every game, and all we got really left back there is Delo. That's it. It's like, how can Manchester United, one of the biggest teams in the world, not have more? So either we're going to have to bring guys up from the youth team, at least to be a backfill. And the other guy, the black kid that came out, he looks like he's got some pace, but he looks like he's going to be a center back. But there's a good chance he might be able to play out fullback. But I think he'll probably put in Lindelof, and if we get some goals up for 3-0 with 70 minutes left, maybe bring the 16-year-old guy in. And would that be the youngest ever? I mean, what was Giggs when he came on? I don't know. I'd have to look at who was the first. Maybe Duncan Ferguson. Who knows? Somebody way back then. But anyway, it's been a while since I've been on here to talk. As you can tell, there's like this part of me. It's almost like I had a stroke. It's like, but what it is like I said, I've had issues with my teeth my entire life. And I had a cavity that I did something that actually, I couldn't really feel it anymore. I thought I'd done something that was okay. And then one night all of a sudden I felt something over here. It's like it just went through and went up into my cheek. And so I went in the next day and they said it was an infection. And you can't really mess with that because you can die from this shit like this because it can go into your blood, give you sepsis. There was a former football player that died from it in his 30s. Now, I don't know what else is going on with. I have no signs. I don't have no fever or anything like that. My body it is trying to stop it. It's trying to stop me from getting it all the way away because right now it should be all gone. But it's obviously a real infection, and this was a lot bigger. So it's down to the bottom of it, and I have to get that tooth has to be taken out on Monday, and this has to be gone for me to do that. So I called them up about that today, and I'm not going to be there tomorrow. Of course, people don't work on Fridays when they're professionals like that. They work Monday for Thursday, and they make a lot of money here. If you're a dentist, you're $1 million a year type of a deal. But as I look at it, because I can see myself, I can see the difference between this and this. And about a month ago, I started feeling stuff in here, and I'm like, then I look online, what does that mean? Because I'm getting older. Well, that's because you get older, you get fatty deposits here. And I started feeling that, and I'm like, oh, that's all it is. Until the other day, when I woke up, it's like, and but it's like pushing up against everything. So she said it's only one under one tooth. So And she asked, "Well, root canal," and I said, "No, just take it out because it's happened before. This will be the fifth or sixth teeth I have taken out because I flossed. I, I mean, my gums are fine. Everything I do, and it just happens. And I had it early on in my life, and then, I've had the first cancer I had. No, I had. I think I did. I had the root canal when I was 19, the first one. Then I didn't have anything, and then I got something, whether mono or something like that, that just destroyed my immune system. And I've always had been susceptible to shit. And then I got my first cancer, and it just always going on and on with that. And I think that when I got that chemotherapy, I think it fucked everything up as well, because I lost the other ones after that. And I didn't want to go to the doctor. I didn't want to go to the dentist, so I'm trying to use this stuff that'll help, and it did work. But then when it didn't work, then it just all came in, right? And it just so because I hate dentists, I do. But I got to deal with what I got to do, and hopefully on Monday they'll take it out, and it doesn't hurt. It's just real. I just feel pressure there now. It's like it starts from here and goes to like there, and the other day was like all the way to here. And then you go online and it says your antibiotic should put away all this swelling in 3 days. Now this is the fourth day; it hasn't finished all of it. And it says you should call your dentist if that's the issue. So I did, and they're okay with it. They think it's fine as long as it's going down. I just might have to wait, and I have to remember that when I had my surgery on my intestines for the first cancer I had, I almost did get out of hospital. I got an infection in the hospital, and it took me a while to get out. And I think that my body is somewhat not immune to antibiotics, but they have issues with it. And I think I have something in my liver and all that stuff that's like not really good when it comes to my immune system. And I think that's what's causing some of the more difficult stuff I've had, having strokes, having cancer, stuff like that. And I'm still here, but every day I walk, I eat well, I got my cholesterol down low. It doesn't really matter when you have a genetic predisposition for something like this. It happened. This I could have took care of probably 2 months ago, and got the teeth out then, or have a root canal back then, and this would never happen. I took advice with something, and it worked. It really did. I felt really good with it, but it doesn't really fix it, right? It just kind of like masks the pain when you think about it. All it really did is kind of like, yeah, I'm going to take it all out of there, and it's going to mask it. And then eventually, at some point, I was eating some hard type food, and I think it just on the root, and the root went to that, and just went, and all that bacteria. I know it sounds stupid. We're talking about football, but bacteria goes into my cheek, and so now it's right around with the jawline. So that could be infected, and it probably is. That could be also because I feel some pain right through here, so it's probably in the jaw. This is not good, it's. But as I said, looking at myself, it's not clearly as bad as it was when I walked in there. It's hopefully when I wake up tomorrow, this will be almost gone. The issue I'm worried about, obviously, is I don't want to get sepsis or anything, but I don't want this continually push. I feel this pressure for the rest of my life. I don't know exactly what that is. I don't know if it's just, and it's weird that it kind of like goes somewhere else. It's like, if I'm not going to do here, I'm going to go over here, and it starts moving over here. So clearly that's liquid. And then I look online, it says you should have, there's an abscess there, and you should be able to prick it and let all the bad shit out. And she didn't do that. The idea is to do this first. So it's possible that I'll go on there on Monday and say we can't do the extraction, but she might prick it and let the shit come out and put me on it for another week, and then come back in the next week. Like I said, it doesn't hurt. My mouth does not hurt from it. Well, it might. Once all this comes out, I might all of a sudden have a tooth pain. But anyway, again, it's been a long time since I've talked to you. That's why I'm rambling a little bit, talking about what's going on in my life. Um, I'm just very, very happy, regardless of what you think of the Glazers. And I've been a defender of them in the past, and not so much recently. But I think they made the right choice here. It's not always about having 100 points every year. We have to be, Manchester United has to be above it, and I said that in my video when I talked about it. We have to be the standard. We can't be allowed, we're not Manchester City. We're just not. And we should not, we're not Chelsea, we're not Newcastle United. We're Manchester United, the team that lost half of their players in 58 in Munich. We're that team, that history. We have to have, you should have an English person running the fucking club. You should. Yes, we're a global team. Obviously, I'm American. And it's great that they are. And I think the rest of we'd have enough fans around the world that would, certainly if it was allowed to give money to the club, they would, to make sure that we have more players or whatever. We should develop our youth team. We should have more native players playing for Manchester United like it used to be in the 1990s and 2000s. You should have at least 4 or 5 players that are English or Welsh or Swat. That's how it should be for Manchester United. And you could still win the league. You could still win the European Cups. We did it. In 99, we did it. We did it in 2008. There's not reason why you can't do it with guys that are basically native born, UK-based. Doesn't be. I'm not talking about color here. Rashford would be English, right? I'm talking about actually people from to recognize and relate the fact that, and I said that in that video before as well, is that the money is now so much different now, so they can't really have that type of relationship that they have with the fans. But if you have guys like McTominay or something like that in the club, in the team, even though he's also a millionaire, it still looks like the common core, hardworking, native-born type of player playing for Manchester United since he was 8 years old. We want that. We want that continually to go on. So I want, always, when we were just shit, I said, just bring up the youth team. And if we end up 10th, we end up 10th. Because we're that good. We're so deep all the way down because our academy is still really good. We just have to update it and do things with it to make it more attractive to other players who want to come in and play for Manchester United. There's no reason why we can't do that. And I think that should be number one before building the stadium. But if we build a stadium, it shouldn't wait it should be for 5 years. Because I don't know if I have enough time on this earth. And I don't know that Jim has that in his lifetime as well. So I want to see all this stuff. I want to go. I want to go to England when they build a new stadium, or I want to go there before whatever they're going to do to Old Trafford. I want to be there and say I was there. And I mean, it's one of the greatest days of my life when I went there. And anyway, again, no goating. I'm just glad that they made the right decision. Whatever reason why they chose him, I think because they know him, and I think that they thought basically that they wanted this would be the right thing for us. So at that point, I thank them for choosing him, and we'll just go from here. And I think in another 2 or 3 years, I think they will not be anywhere. They might still be on the commercial side, making their money there, but I think at some point, if we do better and we do things better, I think that he'll take another 25%. And get him over 50, and he will be the entire majority order. And I just like him. At the same time, though, I think that a lot of people think that he may get rid of Ten Hag. And I don't think that's right yet until we get everything settled. I have some issues with the way Ten Hag plays, but I'm kind of old school. I like 4-4-2. I like wide players. That's why I like Palestri and Ahmad. These are players I think that are what I would think of an old school Manchester United team. They would clearly be in that. And I'm not a big fan of Anthony and how he played. And he played well. He started well, and he does things. He gets back and defends. So I appreciate that. But he is not. He's not Ryan Giggs. He's not even David Beckham. He's nobody that can actually go by anybody. And if he had that, he's he's not fast. He's a little quick. He's got the first quick step. But the problem is everybody knows what he's going to do. He's not like Robin, and I that's clearly the same type of player. But Robin was faster. But Robin was had one trick, and he always got open with it. Not sure that he has it in his game, and he has the other issue off the field. I think that's also affected him, and he's been sitting on the bench because Garnacho has just been a better player. But Garnacho has continually improved, just like Ronaldo did, continually improved and continually improved. And I do want to say this before I close. I've been very, very critical with Marcus Rashford. I think the last 3 or 4 games he's played really well. He still has the thing about getting himself into a cuddle stack, but I think him and Rasmus Højlund they're starting to get their thing together. I think that when Marcus is playing with Martial, they have this in their mind, and I think that Rashford is a lot less selfish when Martial is on the pitch. The same thing with Martial. I think that when they're both fully fit and on form, they're really good. I'm not going to say they're world class, but they're like that one level before that. And there are times that nobody can stop them, right? But we have the issue of motivation and injuries and all that stuff when it comes to Martial and Rashford with his up and down form. But I think he's actually learning. I'm not saying because he got benched for whatever, but I think that he's understanding that his game has to get to a different level. If he wants to be considered at the top. He's not world class, has never been world class. But he could definitely be at that next level, and he could be almost there if he has to open up his game and make it a better player. And if he can do that, because he has the ability. I've seen him hit that one little cross he did to Højlund in the Champions League was great. He has that. And I'll tell you, if you go back and you look at the highlights with him and Martial when they were at the peak of their powers, they both are very good at that. So it's there. I think he likes to be in the spotlight when it comes to scoring the goals. And I'm sure he's told that he has to do it anyway. That's his job. But he's got a poacher there, and he has to get the ball to him. And the thing is with Rasmus will give you the ball back, whereas most of those guys don't. Garnacho is having some issue with that. But the thing is with Garnacho, he's not really playing his favorite position, so his ability to cross is not as good as it would be if he's on the other side. But he's also 19. He has the ability to get better there as well. So I have no issue with that front line. I love Palestri. I would love for him to be there if Marcus leaves, because Palestri could come back, I guess. I think he's on loan, right? So he could come back, and he could definitely play there. But I don't think that's going to be the case. Something about Ten Hag doesn't like him enough. And I don't know enough about Ahmad. I don't know if he's good enough to play at the topest level of the Premiership. But who knows? But Manu and all that, these are all great players that have come, young players. So we see the future, right? You're going to have to get rid of some of the old guys. You have to get rid of Shaw. You're going to have to get rid of, not Evans. Evans is probably our best fullback. I don't think we're going to get with Maguire, although right now, I don't think anybody's going anywhere in the back, other than maybe Varane might want to decide to leave. And Delo has to be there. He's still young. And then it's Casemiro. We have to find somebody to come here and take his position, an actual DM, and allow Manu to do other things. Manu is great in a lot of areas. He's not very fast. He's very close to like a Paul Scholes, fast-wise, but he doesn't have the ability yet to ping passes around everywhere. I think he has it. I do. But right now he's not being asked to do that. And we just haven't seen Mount enough. So we don't know what that's going to be. And I'm not so sure because I think, is it Bruno? Is he almost coming up to 30 now? I think there's a possibility that Bruno might be gone. And the Mount will play in that position. And then you'll have Manu, Casemiro or his replacement. Casemiro, we can do a whole video about Casemiro and how he's being unfairly judged in the Premiership. He is not a dirty player at all. He sometimes make late challenges. But the thing is, what I don't understand is that when you go back and you look at these challenges that he got a red for, and when he did this to the guy and he got a red for that, and when you actually look at it and you take your bias off of it, you know that none of these were really red card offenses. You would think that the player or the referees would say, you know what, we're being a little bit too harsh on him. But he's standing there like this, and then he gets another yellow for that. I'm like, it's almost like he has a reputation of something he did that he didn't really done. He is a physical player, but he's not even close to like Keane or Scholes. It's not even. And I know it's a different time, but the shit that he gets in trouble for, because he's not as quick as he could be. Yeah, but his mind is really good. He's high IQ when it comes to it, so he's there. But these guys are so fast right now that he just gets the foot there just a little bit late, and then they give him a yellow for that, and it's the first tackle. It's like he has no respect, even though he is who he is. He is one of the greatest players that ever played. So we have to find somebody that can replace him. So I think that's one of the first things you have to do, and you really, 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 whether a lot of 10-minute, just smaller purchases of young players that can play fullbacks on either side. We have to have them. Reguilon played really well for us, but he got hurt. We have to find guys that are good. They don't have to be 90 on FIFA, right? But they have to be 75, 80 that are going to be around for 90% of the team of the season. We have to find guys like that, like Gary Neville, not the fastest guy in the world, small, smart on the field, but not the fastest guy. Evra, players that we can do that. So if we can get the guy back, the Portuguese guy back in, if I don't know if he's under our thing or not, he should definitely be back. And we should have him in the team, so we get younger, faster guys that won't get hurt all the time. Shaw has to go, and as a player, I like him. Years ago, I did a video about him. I said he was out of shape. I think he still struggles with being in shape, and I think that hurts him eventually in the season because he's not 100% there. And when he actually has to do 100% of the effort is when this shit happens. And I know where it happened. When he just went after that because he was out of position, not on him. It wasn't his fault. It was either Bruno or Casemiro had a wayward pass, and he's got to go back and defend it. And he was going really fast, the fastest I've seen him in a long time. Now, he's one of the fastest guys on the team. You just don't know that because he doesn't really show it until he has to. And he did it, and I said, man, he's probably going to, it probably took his hamstring there. And all of a sudden, 4 or 5 minutes later, he walks off. So, anyway, I'm rambling. I think it's a really good thing where we're at right now when it comes to Sir Jim. And I'm very, very excited that we chose correctly, and instead of being under the thumb of a Qatari state thing. The shit that it's bad enough, all the progressive woke shit that's already at the stadium now. What do you do with that? We're going to have all sorts of weird things. Anyway, I'm going to stop right now because I'm almost at 40 minutes. Let me know what you think about what he's done so far as the owner of the football operations. And where do you think our future is? And do you think that next year at this time, will Ten Hag still be the manager? Will we make the Champions League? Will we get lucky and finish 5th and somehow Arsenal gets to the final against City, and how the coefficient works? They could send a top. I'll also say this before I leave. If you actually listen to this long, you can tell me at the end in the comments. Would you be upset if the only way we get to the Champions League, we finish 5th, and Arsenal wins the Champions League? I have no issue with it because they've never done anything like that. I think they're good enough. They're one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the world, even though they lost last night to Porto. but I think that they definitely could win it. It's a cup competition. It's not really indicative that you're the best team in Europe all the time. There's been teams that have won the European Champions League, and they weren't clearly not the best team in Europe. Happened with Liverpool. Happened with Porto when they went through us, and they ended up winning the Champions League. So it does happen. People might say, well, we beat Chelsea, even though we beat them during the league. When Chelsea lost or beat Bayern Munich, were they the best team that year? Probably not. But anyway, would you be okay with that? Or do you want City to win the league again? Do you want Liverpool to win the league again? Or do you want Arsenal to win? Would you be okay if Liverpool wins the Champions League? I don't. That'd be 7 for them. Would you be okay if Manchester City defends the Champions League? I wouldn't want to do that. So I'm like one of those things. I'm not going to say I want the double. I don't want them to win the Champions League and the Premiership for Arsenal. But it'll be the only time they would do anything like that. And once we get our shit back, they're not going to be up there vying for this. I said it before, probably 2 months ago. I said that I don't worry about Aston Villa and I don't worry about Spurs. And they're right above us right now. And I'm probably going to end up shooting on my own fucking vomit. But I don't. Spurs just lost at home. Villa had issues, but they still won against Fulham. I think it's going to be really, really close. I don't think Spurs is in the way that they play. People are going to score against them, and whatever. I don't think they're going to be there. And the problem with us is our injuries. I just don't know how we can actually replace Shaw. We don't have Malacia there. We don't have Reguilon. We don't have Wan-Bissaka playing there. So that could be a very, very difficult thing for us. I think that Ten Hag is smart enough. He might find somebody that can actually play that position. Or play that position. Like maybe Omar can do it. Or maybe Anthony can play that position. Maybe go to 3-5-2 there. Why not? They have enough time. We have enough time to train it so it's possible we do something like that. I don't think we'll do it at Fulham, but anyway. I don't know what I was going to say there. No, I don't believe that Aston Villa is going to just continually win, get 2 or 2.2 points a game. I think by the end of the day, if Manchester United gets to 100 or gets to 72 points, I think that'll be enough. And we may not be able to get there, but we'll see. And it'll be interesting. I think the championship is going down to the final thing. You're gonna have problems with all of these players that are trying to play for the Champions League as well. And they're gonna be playing every 3 or 4 days. They're going to get back and play in the Premiership, and they're going to drop points. But they're so far ahead of everybody else that they're just going to go back and forth with each other. And at the end of the season, we'll see who wins. I think that an English team is going to be in the final of the Champions League. It's just who it's going to be, and it might be against each other. Because I think that at this point, it's not even close. I don't know how good Leverkusen is. Okay, I see what they do to Munich, but I don't know how good they are, and I don't think they're in the Champions League. You'd have to look. And I don't fear Real Madrid. They have good players, and I don't really fear Barcelona. So it's a totally different thing right now. I think the top 3 or 4 teams in the in England should be in the top 4 in Europe. So we'll see what happens. I'm up almost 45 minutes. I'm going to stop. If you actually watch this, just let me know. Let's have this conversation in the comments. And thank you for actually listening to me. I don't care if 10 people hears this or 100 people. It's always therapeutic for me to get up here and talk for a lot of reasons. I'm an old man. I don't have a whole lot of friends. And so this is good for me to get it out of me so I can just go up and be the father I am, the husband I am. And I love to talk about Manchester United in all areas. Okay, you guys have a good weekend. It's Thursday. I think we're going to watch the game on Saturday. I think I might get up early to watch the Elimination Chamber in WWE. Don't know why. I got nothing else to do. I'm an old man, nothing else to do. And hopefully this thing will be totally gone. And then on this Monday they'll take out another tooth, and I'll be ready to go. You guys have a good day, and thank you for listening.